But yeah, to formally kick off, welcome to Properteasy. We've got Martina and Peter here from Properteasy. I'm Kasey from the Rental Network, which is a property management training and consulting agency. So Martina and Peter, I met probably a year or 18 months ago. And yeah, one of the best tech softwares I've seen come into the industry in a really long time. I love what you're doing for property managers in trying to alleviate the stress that comes with the management of the safety checks and minimum standards. There's a lot of stress that comes with trying to keep on top of them and get visuals of them. And I guess what you've found and why you've brought this platform to life is, and what I find going into agencies too, with the property management software, there's none that really gives a good, clear visual of where the minimum standards and the safety checks are at, which is where you guys come in. So today, we're going to go over a quick demo of Properteasy and what it's all about. So I will throw over to you, Peter, and do you want to kick us off?
Thanks, Kasey. Thanks for the welcome. And thanks for everyone who's tuning in. Replay or live doesn't really matter. The information is the same. Yeah, we are Properteasy, and we exist because we think that minimum standards and safety check management doesn't have to be hard, doesn't have to be tedious, doesn't have to involve a lot of stress, and yeah, it can be also fun. So as you can hear later from Martina, she makes it almost a game, and yeah, the work then flies when you don't feel it's tedious and stressful. My background is software engineering, software development, so I am not a property manager. I don't, apart from owning rental property and being on the owner's side of things. Yeah, my skill or expertise is in the software development, building things that help people save time and money. And also, as you can see in my background, now it's chopped off. I'm a football fan, Arsenal fan, and try to stay fit, running a couple marathons. And that's my domain, fitness. If I don't code or if I don't talk product, I try to stay fit and spend time with the family. Just got back from Europe from a couple of Premier League games, which was a fantastic trip. And how I am involved in the real estate industry and the prop tech in general is through Martina. So Martina, give your intro.
Thank you. Thank you, Kasey. So my name is Martina. I am a team leader and a senior property manager for one of the biggest in Southeast agency. So I'm a person on the tools, and I do have quite clear understanding what it means to be a PM these days, and what it means for the PMs to try to get everything floating well for the owners and make sure that we also stay a little sane along the way. So yeah, I've got a team of currently 3 that I'm looking after. It fluctuates between 5 to 3 people, so it can go in a size up and down. But yeah, we definitely can see where the pain points are and where the people tend to burn out when it comes to the paperwork and what they have to keep track of. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. So the picture that we've got on the screen now, it's pretty much what we used to have in our office. And as you can see, it's quite unclear, very messy, a lot of logins into different portals, a lot of spreadsheets floating. We used to have a dedicated compliance manager, but only part-time. So none of the information was really ever up to date. And when I needed some information for my owners, I could never really say with confidence that this is what it is. And even just to find some paperwork was a little bit of a maze run. So Peter and myself, we kind of had a lot of conversations. As a good husband, he would listen to me, being not happy, talking about my workflows and all that. And
yeah, what can I put together to make her stop talking?
And it was exactly what he said. What can I do to help you to manage this? And obviously, it wasn't straightforward, but we do have a very, very good product that I'm extremely proud of, and I'm proud of Peter, what he's actually created. So yeah, it does make my job and our team's job much, much easier. And you just have this heavy lifting going down and just, you know, can flow through the day with confidence and knowing what's happening.
Yeah, I'll jump in here. Of course, yes, when your wife comes home every second day and reaches out for the glass of wine way too often, and the reason is paper compliance, dates here, dates there, multiple logins and reset passwords. You just feel like something's broken in the workflow, and that's when we started building Properteasy. And I forgot to mention that before Properteasy, I was working at Coles on the online shopping platform, which is also a huge project. Before then, I was at car sales.
Yeah.
So I was always involved in a big project or big technical solutions for workflows. And then when I saw Martina always bringing this up, I saw what it would look like to make your life easier. And so that's when it started. I tried to help her remove her spreadsheet. And then when the other team members saw it, how was Properteasy much easier to digest, and they requested to, oh, can I use it too? And so it grew from Martina needing it first, but then now multiple agencies using it.
Yeah.
So we had always one clear objective, and that's one login to see all your properties, all your reminders, all your documents, and spinning up the jobs from there. It's also very simple. So we wanted to consolidate all the paperwork, regardless of who manages the safety checks themselves, into one platform.
Yeah, 100%.
And so the difference maybe, or the question viewers might have is how are we different to supplier portal in general? Yeah, because we know there are suppliers that they have their own portals, but they are limited only to some properties. So unless you have all properties with them, they will never give you the big picture of all your properties or your portfolio. So there's a big risk that you're going to miss something. And you will definitely have users or owners that want to do it themselves, or they have a plumber or electrician in the family. They want to do it. They want to pass the work to them. So it's never easy to sign up every single property in the portfolio with one provider. Usually their integration with the CRM is very simple. Just give us all properties and contact details. We'll handle the rest. And we have much deeper CRM integration, as you'll see. They import all your contacts, which we don't. We don't bring any contact details of your tenants and owners, which going forward, there will be some privacy issues if you keep leaking all your database of everyone to third-party systems, and they are hard to change. So if you're with supplier, you might feel like, oh, if I change to someone else, I'll lose all the paperwork, all the dates, and I'll start again. So we have a system that it's on your side, on the PM side, on the agency side, so you can change provider as you like. And of course, we encourage you to have relationship with good providers that make your life easier, but you should never feel stuck that you can't change.
Yeah, I think that's a win in itself. Like even that small detail is a huge win for agencies, because a lot that I go into and work in, they feel like they're too far in and too deep with their supplier, that changing it, the fear of the data they might lose is too hard and too much of a worry and stress. So they just leave it, even if they're not happy with the provider. So I think that's a really great detail to note, that it does make the changing easy.
Yeah. I have to say, from my perspective as a PM, but also as a landlord, you know, I don't want somebody to be telling me who to use if I do have the overview and I have the knowledge, and I want to have the knowledge as to what's happening.
Yes.
I want to have a free choice, and even I want my property manager to actually advise me on options, not just stuck me with one that is the easiest to use because of the paperwork management.
We're already with them.
I've done quite a lot of switches in the past 12 months. And it just makes my life much easier.
Yeah. And it's so important to do that too, because oh gosh, the things I've seen in the consulting space in agencies, the problems when, you know, with certain providers, they might get in too deep and they are, you know, they've taken on more than they can handle, and then it just becomes a mess. So, changing when things aren't right, I think is important to realize and do.
Correct.
Yeah.
And also with the communication, it's not just that they go in and do the safety checks, it's the communication, it's the inquiries that you might have. You just need somebody to be really working with you and you not working for them.
For sure.
The last point is partial reporting. So of course, if you don't have all properties with that provider, you never have, even if they have some dashboards or some reporting out of it, you will still need to patch it up with the extra spreadsheet or extra supplier portal. So you don't have the view of every single property in your portfolio, which is what you and the directors and everyone in the agency should have.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
also the other point is that at the moment, agencies track their dates in their CRM. If they don't use Properteasy, they use their CRM. There is always some sort of compliance section, which is usually quite limited. And then the suppliers, because they try to help you, they also keep track of in their system. So there is 2 dates, and suddenly people or agencies send each other a list of properties, list of dates. Can you double check? Is this really due this month? Is this really due this month? Do these people still live there? And so there is unnecessary double checking on both ends that we try to eliminate as well. That we believe that there should be always only one job, one date, one document, and everything just evolves around it. As soon as there's 2 dates in 2 systems, someone will be double checking and sending you emails. Hey, can you just check? Should I go? Is this due this month? Is it not? Is it vacant?
Or doing the job when it's not due, and then you've got an invoice that needs to be paid.
Exactly.
Correct.
And then you're asking for cancellations, or can you waive this one? We messed up. And
I had recently very good case for this where we have we've gave up management for certain reasons, and I have handed over all the documents and all the information in regards to the compliance to the other agent. And it's been 8 or 9 months, and I keep getting invoices from the supplier who has gone in to do the safety checks without the other agents going. So that's where it starts. When somebody's trying to take it off you completely and start running their own show, they won't have all the details that you do, and you don't have, the capacity to advise to supply, oh, we don't manage this anymore. That's not where we should be sitting. So it definitely can create some expenses on the supplier side, and they're not going to see the payment.
So this is a visual, Martina, and I'm quite visual as well. Sometimes it feels the compliance is like running in a muddy. You don't have any proper shoes, and you just confused. Where do you actually start? How do you get it under control? And then, of course, we believe that with Properteasy, it is much simpler. You have much more direct workflow for everyone. Doesn't matter who the supplier is. Straight away, simple workflow. Onboarding new people to this workflow is also much easier. I was on the call with one of our clients yesterday, and she said they had a new starter, new girl. They explained Property.me. They use Property.me as the CRM, and Properteasy on the same day, and she's just flying from here. So if your systems are simple, then they simple to onboard, and more people follow it than disjointed workflows.
Yes, absolutely.
Alrighty. Now we're going to go to demo, unless there is any questions, but I'm assuming no questions so far. So I'll jump in. To a demo. Okay. So firstly, I'll just give overview of the platform if this is the first time you see it, so you know what we talk about. But so this is properties list, but I'll jump to the homepage. So homepage is the dashboard of charts based on whatever I am currently managing. So this is connected to demo portfolio in Property.me. So I manage 193 properties, and all these charts are based on only my properties. So I know exactly that there is 2 smoke alarms expiring soon, few things expired for whatever reasons. And then you have the breakdown of gas, electrical, smoke alarm, and pool. So this is tailored to individual users. So any user in your Property.me would have account in Properteasy. When they log in, they see breakdown based on the properties they manage. Then we have a reporting page, which is a similar dashboard, but it has the drop down with users. So you can narrow down and only select the subset of users. Let's say you are managing a team of 3 like Martina, then you would see the list of the charts based on that. If you have one-on-ones, it's also handy. You can just bring it up based on that one user. So the admin users, which is like we have 2 different kinds of users, managers and admins. The admins only have access to the reporting. Every individual user, the manager, would have access to their homepage. Okay, just wanted to clarify that. Then I'll skip inbox for now. We'll go to the properties list, which is the most frequently visited page, the most useful, the most beneficial. And I'll just clear all the filters. So by default, the users will see, again, the properties they manage. So not the whole portfolio, but only what I am currently managing. As you can see, I'm pre-selected here. So if all filters are reset, I see only my properties. And this was the view that was missing for Martina when it comes to compliance management in the CRM. It's a list of properties, and we have a clear visual indication of where each of these checks are. So gas, electrical, smoke alarm, pool, and landlord insurance. The smoke alarm is expired in this case, and landlord insurance is not applicable for that property. So anything grayed out is not applicable. Of course, not every property has a pool. Some properties don't need a gas, so you can easily disable it per property. And as I said, green is something that is in the future, so you don't have to worry about it. Red is something in the past, you should worry about it. And yellow is something that is expiring soon. By default, it's 60 days from the expiry date, but every agency can set the threshold to whatever suits them.
So you can customize that date.
Yeah, we have a small agency in Gippsland, and they're smallish, and they have tradies a little bit more agile, and so they can set it, I think, to 2 or 3 weeks, and they don't need the 2 months lead time.
Yeah. For the bigger agency, obviously, it's better to have a little bit more time. So the 60 days works pretty well.
Yeah. And then we have the minimum standards column, which again, so
my favorite part.
I love that too.
So if I pick, let's say, this 73 barrick, you know clearly that the smoke alarm is expiring soon, pool and load insurance expired, and then we have 15 out of 15 checks is done. So this one is the green ones, of course, you don't have to worry about it, or it's been marked as compliant in all the 15 categories. Then we have a few other states or options. If you mark some of them non-compliant, then it's going to show as 12 out of 15. So 3 categories non-compliant and so on. And then there is a couple here that have this extra exclamation mark, which is properties that the checklist been saved before we've introduced the minimum standards for the blind codes. And so the property manager just needs to go into that property and validate, okay,
so
are there
that's
blind codes?
Flagged that after the changes happened, it's flagged all of those properties that haven't had that check done.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's been because it came. So these minimum standards tracking in our systems been there before they introduced blind code. So we just gave the users this little icon saying, okay, the blind codes are now, or from 1st December now required. Go and recheck these properties, because we don't know. We can't set it for them and say all of them are compliant. So that's just visual indication for them. And we'll be doing the same thing when the other things will come in.
So you could, so you know exactly where you need to draw the attention. So
in the future, when the insulation and cooling, if it comes into the minimum standards, we'll have similar things. So you don't have to redo things. You don't have to. You will keep all the data that you already have. Plus, you will need to then add a couple categories if they ever become part of that. So that's that. In the labels, agencies usually use the label of the supplier, so that's pretty straightforward. But then we have some automatic labels we adding to properties when there's job in progress and so on. So I'm gonna I think that's pretty much the overview here. Clean, much more straightforward than bunch of text and dates in the CRM Martina was using.
So as a PM, I guess, you know, when you look at your screen and you can filter through the red ones and you can filter through the orange ones, you understand this is the only thing that I actually need to focus on, rather than trying to decode a spreadsheet and find out whether that spreadsheet is up to date. So we're losing so much time just trying to find an information, and here the information is on your plate and it's up to date. So
Yeah.
the time is ticking and it's on the count. So you know that what you're looking at is actually
Yeah, love that. And the filter there that you've just done, Peter, that was what I was just about to ask. How can they filter it then to break that down as to what's expired and expiring soon? So,
Yeah.
so
So we've got few quick filters. Then,
yeah,
of course, if you want to see the properties that are fully compliant, they don't have anything red, or if they don't have anything red, then this is the list of properties. If you want to see
you want to make
properties,
yourself feel good, you just
yeah,
go
yeah.
to all compliant properties.
You're feeling a little low. I'm just going to go into
I want to see
and
some green.
you will
pick
pray
me
that
up.
at least couple properties come up. Yeah, so the expiring soon again shrinks the list to show you anything that has at least one item or orange or yellow.
Yeah,
And the expired one is the same thing for anything red. So this is the ones that should have jobs in progress. And again, I'm just highlighting here, this is the dummy
yeah.
demo
Yeah,
account.
we're
No
not
one
judging you,
managing.
Peter. We know
Yeah,
that.
so please don't
Doesn't have time
send
to do the compliance.
inspectors. don't
Required.
send it. Yeah. And so that's expiring soon. So let's say we go to this expiring soon list,
Yeah.
and the one thing that our users also requested was to show a further works icon, so or some sort of notification. Have I already sent the job to this smoke alarm? Have I not? Where is the job? And so on. So we've introduced this show further works icon, which will display on any of these compliances or in the minimum standards as well later this week. And so that just shows you that this smoke alarm, we already created a job, we already sent the job out.
That's
So
what
you don't
that
have
blue
to.
icon means, that there's
Yes.
further works, but we've got a job on the way that's in
Exactly.
progress, getting it done.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in terms of what needs to happen by filtering expiring soon, all we have to do is just send smoke alarm
Yeah.
job, because that is expiring soon. There's no job already sent with it. So we can do that. And yeah, I'll do that on the next screen. Here is just another set of labels that you can filter by. You can exclude labels. That's quite self-explanatory. So I'm not
Yeah.
going to go into that unless there will be some questions. But let's go to that 73 Barrick. And this is the property detail page. One thing that also our users requested is just to get a quick overview of the state of the property instead of going through all the data on the page and minimum standards and maybe related tasks and comments and emails. We've created this generate summary, which looks at all the important data for that property or related to that property and generates a quick summary, which says there is one compliance issue, smoke alarms expiring in 19 days, gas electric certificates are missing. So that just gives you a quick overview. What can you do to make this property more compliant or more filled in with the right data? And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly drop in electrical compliance report. So all I'm doing is just dragging the PDF from my desktop. And the other one, I'll drop in the gas safety check. So that will rectify that 2 missing reports. We have also an icon to run these reports through AI processing. So you don't have to open it, look at the date, add 2 years, because this one is electrical compliance. So we try to save you the brain load and also reuse errors as well. So when you click on this little process certificate with AI icon, we do exactly that for the PMs. So it will know that that report relates to electrical. It will suggest the new date based on the PDF. We generated the electrical expiry date from the report. So it looked inside of the report. It did found the inspection date or whatever that's marked in the PDF itself. It found out that it's electrical compliance. It added the extra 2 years to it. So the PM only glances over, double checks the date is correct, and click update will just store the date in the database, and happy days. For the suggestions that are applied by the user, we're keeping them here just for record and just to make sure that, yes, the AI suggested something, we've applied it, so it's good for the history. I'll do the same thing for the guess. And of course, we'll rectify the smoke alarm, but for that, we'll first create a job so people see how easy it is to create jobs. Yeah, so now we have 2 dates based on the PDFs, happy days. And we still need to rectify the expiring smoke alarm. So we'll skip the minimum standards for now. We'll just spin up the task related to the smoke alarm, and we don't have to worry about the due date. That's automatically set based on what is the smoke alarm expiry date, and we automatically populating the subject.
So does that due date pull up based on when your reminder is due to come in, or that's the actual date of the expiry?
It is. So this one is 30/12/25. That's
Yeah,
when it
and then the
expires.
system will pull that forward 60 days or 2 weeks or 30 days, whatever your office has got it set up as.
It will be this date. This will be the due date. So you want to make sure that they know that it's quite urgent. So yeah, it's not like 2 weeks from when you open the task. It is automatic. Of course, you can change the date if you want to.
You can change it. So it pulls out the actual expiry date on there, but you can change it if you want to change it to 2 weeks or whatever from the time you're sending the work order. You can do that.
Okay.
Yep. We automatically updating the subject. So if you're opening a job and task for multiple of these compliances, we just making sure that whatever the tradie gets has the full set of the checks they need to do. So for this one, we'll just keep it on a smoke alarm, and then we can create the job. This is the integration with Property.me. At the same time, we can create job, assign it to supplier, and depending on who does your smoke alarm checks, you can simply select them and happy days. So if I click submit, it will create task in our system, but also at the same time, it will create job in Property.me. It will, if you're familiar with Property.me, there's the reported tab and then approved and so on. So it does all these steps. So it actually assigns it to the tradie you just selected. So you save yourself multiple clicks within the CRM.
Yeah.
And the job is now created. Here is the task on the property detail page. So if I click into it, you see the related job in Property.me that's been sent out. And we have a quick link to it in Property.me, so you don't have to search for it in the other system.
Amazing.
If you want to just have a quick glance over it, as I said, we don't import any tenant details and so on. So you have it, you have a quick link to it. And depending how are you set up within Property.me, that email could go automatically to the tradie or to the tenant, or if you have it in the outbox, it would be generated in the outbox. So that depends how is your agency set up within Property.me. But yeah, as I said, quick link to the job, and also on property we have a quick link to that property in Property.me. Okay, so now the job is assigned. Yeah.
Sorry, Peter, I just want to say there's one good feature that Peter keeps intentionally skipping every time he's talking about it, but that we also have a label on the job. And for example, we're using, at my office, we're using overdue or due label. And when you assign the label to the job, it actually in Properteasy, then you can filter by the label. So you can distinguish whether the job is related to overdue, or you can distinguish if it's a job for further works and it's related to fixing the smoke alarm after it's been done. So for, again, filtering purposes, it's really good.
Yeah, awesome.
So this one, I wouldn't add overdue because it's not overdue yet, but I know I get the point. So labels, as I said, they are independent from Property.me labels. You can be as creative as Martina, or just to help you stay more organized as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so this job, as I said, it went out to the tradie. They would get the same email that they would normally get for any jobs that they're getting. It would take the owners, or sorry, the tenant details out of Property.me database and include that in that email. So as I said, we spinned up the job without needing any contact details of the renter. And that's the benefit of using our system. But as I said, we're leveraging the API as much as we can.
Yeah.
And the good thing is as well, as when you open a task related to property, and we would go back to the properties list, you would see the exclamation mark here. So straight away you know that that smoke alarm has now job in progress, and happy days. You're just waiting for it to be completed. So no more guesswork. Have I sent it? Have I not? Where is the job? If you need the job, you either go to the property, find a task, or we have a task page where you would see the last created task over here. Smoke alarm. This is when it expires. So again, you don't have to hunt for it. And that's the address. It has one job in progress. If it had labels, it would show up here. So very simple way to stay on top of it. Of course, you try to close as many tasks as you can and follow up with the tradies. I'm just gonna pretend that the tradies send it to me. So I'll go back to the property.
Do we manually complete the tasks, or do they complete themselves when we update the dates, or is there a trigger for completion, or is that a manual thing?
It is manual, and the reason for it is manually because sometimes you might get the smoke alarm and the report might come faulty. The report might come, you need a further works, right? So what our users do, they don't close the task. They might update the date on the property, but they keep the task open and just create a new job for the follow-up work. So, and only after that follow-up work is completed, then they close the task.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's...
So you pretty much have we opening task first, and the task can sit there until you're ready to assign a job. You assign a job, but it's under the task. And then when your report comes back, and for smoke, not as much, but electrical and gas would have some further works, you can do it all under that one task. So when you close it, it's all in one pot.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so
that's good.
Again,
it's making you it is making you physically look at the reports and see what's going on. So it's not, I think it's good that you haven't automated that step so that nothing gets missed.
Correct, because that's the worry. Like, people want to have everything automated, but that human element of checking, it still needs to be there, unfortunately.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm gonna pretend the tradie send me back the smoke alarm. So again, I'm just dragging it onto the smoke alarm box that uploads the new certificate. I'm running it through the AI to get the new updated date, and when it suggests me, it's over here, 20 June 26, based on this PDF. Glance over 26, correct, update, happy days. I've got still the exclamation mark here, which tells me that the task is still open.
Yeah.
So I'll just go to the tasks, and here I can, of course, close the job because he already done it.
Okay.
So that closes the job. So I don't have to go to Property Me to close the job. I can do it through here.
Okay, so that will close it in Property Me too.
Correct.
Yes. So if the report is coming back with the gas and electrical reports done on the one report, or all three, is the system still giving us a suggested dates for all three individual services? Okay.
Yeah, so I'm just going to complete this task. So I'll get to your question, Kasey. So I'm just going to complete this task, which is the trigger in the background to remove the exclamation mark from...
Okay.
It takes a while. So this one disappeared from my list of expiring soon because it's not expiring soon anymore. Yeah, the property we just rectified is not in this list. So I think it was 73...
Berwick.
73 Berwick, yeah. So that's now rectified. It's not green, doesn't have the exclamation mark anymore, doesn't have the further works label anymore, and happy days. So here also doesn't have it. So that's how we close that whole loop and rectify the smoke alarm. Of course, we don't see it in the open task, but it would be in the closed. And your question, Kasey, yes, you might have suppliers that do all three checks in one, and they might send you one PDF, not three PDFs. There's definitely suppliers like that.
Yeah.
And so all you would need to do, just drop it on one of the cards, process it with AI, and it would give you a suggestion for all three dates. Of course, they would be the same, and it would also make that report on all three of them. I've got example here. It
would put the report on all three, or do I have to drag it into all
No,
three?
you don't. I'll show you one. I'm not gonna open the certificate because it's a real certificate. When we process certificate that relates to multiple compliances, it will speed up update date for each of the compliances it relates to. Of course, it will have the same base inspection date. Yeah, so gas electrical is expiring or is suggesting to 15/8/27. but then smoke alarm is 15/8/26. So the base day is the same because the report was created on one date.
Yeah.
So if I update all these certificates, all dates, they should all become the same exactly date. And then, of course, this report has two failed categories. So there's issues on the gas, there's issue on the electrical. So I can quickly create two tasks for it as well, independent. So it creates tasks for the gas and electrical rectification work independently and saves you a lot of time to manually typing exactly what in the report failed. Yeah, so this has all the details from the report that failed. When it comes to the gas compliance, this one would have the electrical. So one click, extract the dates, extract the follow-up work, and spin up the jobs to whoever can help you rectify it.
Yeah.
And this is a massive help for PMs because a lot of PMs would struggle with, reading and understanding the report.
Yeah.
Here we kind of give you that extract and you can send it to the electrician for quoting or to the owner for approval. It's in a very clear and simple text.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna go to the minimum standards. So we've spoke about minimum standards briefly on that page where you see that little bar. Here is a detailed view of all the checks that the agencies need to keep track of. And from the 1st December, also the windows coverings, all 15 categories that are in the legislation. So agency can open it and have a little bit more details because not every category is a simple yes or no.
Yeah.
Some of them have sub questions. And so we have the details of that. Let's say we go to the mold and dampness. If you mark it as no and save it, then we keep track of when the checklist has been saved and by who. So this is internal information by the agency. It's been saved by me today and so on. So you have a record of exactly who changed what and when. And the benefit of it is then on the list of properties, you will see it 14 out of 15.
Yeah.
Okay. So if
just on that, with that one that you just selected then, Martina, on the tools, have you had or are you and your team, if there has been a change in, for example, the property now having mold and dampness in relation to the building structure, are you guys then going in and doing what Peter's just done? So then it flags that to then be rectified, or have you had any of that to manage yet?
Yeah. So what we do is every time we get a chance to go to the property, we will have the opportunity to have a look what the property is like and amend the checklist. So we've got Properteasy on our phones next to Inspection Express or whatever tool the agency might be using.
Yeah.
And when we, let's say, do routine inspection, I would at the same moment run through the checklist in Properteasy and adjust what needs to be adjusted. The good thing is that you do it on the spot whilst you are at the property. You save it, you can go back to the computer and it's in your computer.
Okay, that was what I was going to ask as well. Are you having to physically sit there and tick, tick, tick? And how are they managing that? So, yeah.
Yeah, so on the spot, it's very easy. If nothing is happening in the property, if you observe everything is fine, all you do is just save, hit the save button. You don't even have to open it, just save, and it will automatically write the date as to when you have assessed the property.
Yeah.
If you're doing exit inspection, you have a little bit better look, then you can change those details. What I really like with the checklist is that, like Peter said, it's not straightforward, usually yes or no. There's subcategories that you go through. And there is a major difference with the heating when it comes to apartments and houses.
Yeah.
So we know that apartments might have some limitations and when it comes to body corporate or installation cost and so on. So we can always pick this up. Is your property not having the heating because this and that? And you can have it clearly noted on that. So yeah, it's very simple. It really takes about two 2 seconds to actually update that checklist.
Yeah.
And when you are already in the property, you're already taking photos, you're already making comments, it's a good time to do it.
Yeah. And I'm probably jumping ahead here, Peter, you might be touching on this, but for those agencies who are getting third parties to do their minimum standard checks, does AI pull up those reports as well, do the ticking for them? Talk to me.
Yes, so that's an update coming up. So it's not deployed
Perfect.
yet, so I can't show it on the live side, but I've got
Yeah.
a preview here. So what we're adding when it comes to the minimum standards is another card that you
Amazing.
can store the minimum standards when it comes to from your third-party suppliers.
Yeah.
And I can do a demo on this one. I'll use certificate.
So what we essentially want to enable the PMs or agencies to do, if your team is confident enough to run through those checks, you can use the minimum standard checklist. And again, it is an internal record that doesn't go to anybody. We don't share whatever you put in.
Yeah.
And I really like it because there's a lot of properties that will always have that little bit of mold somewhere, and we don't know whether it's structural mold or whether it's habitual mold, could be combination of both. And if you say in your checklist in Properteasy that there is an issue, that necessarily doesn't have to translate to some major issue. It's just making you aware that if you are going to upload this property because the tenant's moving out, you've got something little to resolve there, or if it's major. So I really like that for the purpose. And I can tell you that, on a standard portfolio, you're probably going to see a very few of those fully green properties.
Yeah, 100%.
There's always, along the way, there's always going to be something, and you can mark it for yourself and for the team, because if you're going on holidays.
Yeah, I think that's a great point.
Yeah.
For someone to jump in and see, okay, they're vacating, it meets all minimum standards or it doesn't, let's not upload. Yeah.
Yeah. So you kind of flag it in there.
Yes. Love it.
Cool. So what I'm doing here, I'm dropping in report that passed. Yeah. So this one, everything's green. And because the minimum standards reports don't have any requirements on how often it needs to happen, so we're just keeping it over here. And when you process it with the AI, we look through if anything failed or not. And if it doesn't, then you don't gonna get suggestion to create a task. We're only storing the date. So we've just in the background updated the date of the inspection from the report. So in the report, it says minimum standards check 2011-25. So we just record the inspection date, because in the future, if they say you have to do it every couple of years or whatever, then you have at least this day recorded without doing anything.
And if something was flagged on that report, it would then suggest to you over on the right there to create a task.
So I'm going to drop in another one. That's an example of a report, minimum standards report that failed. And so when we process that with AI, it will give us suggestion that something failed, and exactly what failed, it will be in the task description. So you don't have to manually extract it. So I'm going to do it here. This one failed, and it should again update the date based on the report. So it changed the date to the 17th August, and also gave me this minimum standards further works suggestion, and it listed failed categories, locks, and coded internal coverings, which is the blind codes. So when I open it to double check, I can see, yes, locks failed and coded windows coverings failed. So if I click on create task, it will do the thing that I would have to do manually. I would have to open the task related to minimum standards and so on. So we've got a shortcut now to do that. So this task is now open, has the details of what failed, has the reference to the PDF that it actually is picked up from, relates to minimum standards, and then you open the job, assign it to whoever can rectify your locks. Whoever rectify your blind codes. Not always this could be the same people.
And you can do 2 jobs on the one task.
Yes,
Yeah.
you open one task
Yeah.
because your minimum standards are not compliant,
Yeah.
and then you can have as many jobs to rectify it. Yeah. So if 4
Amazing.
categories fail, you're probably gonna engage specialists in mold, specialists in structural soundness. The independent jobs. It's not
Yeah.
like you can send one job to one agency and suddenly they're gonna fix all 4 different
Yeah.
categories. Yeah. So yes, one task and sub jobs based on the
That's what you were
specialist.
saying earlier, that then once all your rectification's been done, you complete the task and it completes the jobs.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So
Gotcha.
it's
So if I,
like I said, everything is in that one hub,
Yes.
and it's related to that
Yeah.
report, and you've had these categories that you needed to
Love
rectify.
it.
So
Yeah.
so
yeah,
if I
it's a
go
really
back to
good
list
help.
of properties
Yeah.
here, 27, this one was 27 summer. Then we'll see that exclamation mark. If I turn it on, you see how now I have the exclamation mark even on the bar with the
Yeah.
minimum standards. And so that's the other addition. So you know that on this property, I've got task pending to gas, I've got task pending to minimum standards, and happy days. So on that property itself, you would see that icon as well here. So visually, it's consistent with all the other compliance trackings we do. And so you know there is a job pending or task pending related to minimum
Yeah.
standards.
Beautiful.
All right, so that's the minimum standards. As I said, whether you use third party, whether you track it internally, you still have both. You still have tools to manage
Yeah.
both,
Amazing.
and
Yeah.
that's as I said, up to agencies to decide. I believe that if they engage third party suppliers, then they should definitely make sure that the report come clean, and the first page should have all 15 categories listed with fail or pass.
Yeah.
Because if they send you a report where
You've got to
you
filter
might
through
have
it and
Yeah,
bedrooms, different
yeah,
bedrooms, then some of you or the PMs or someone in the agency needs to then decode it into
yeah,
what actually
yeah.
failed.
Yeah.
And it's extra work for the PM. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think they should demand clear reporting on the first
100%.
page,
Yeah.
exactly what category failed.
Also, with the minimum standards, as well as any changes with the documents, when you update and when you run it through AI, or when you update the date manually, we've got a recent activity on the site where you can clearly see who in the team has done the change and when. So in terms of tracking, why did you change this, said that it's meeting minimum standards if there is still mold. So
Yeah.
you can have the conversations with the individual team
And
members.
that can't be edited. That's just
No,
factual. Yeah.
that's written in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
It has a
Yeah.
timestamp when it was done and
Yeah.
what is the actual compliance
Yeah.
affected and what
Love
is the
it.
previous date. So if you make a mistake, that's okay. You can just copy the old one, revert back to the
Yeah.
new one. So
Yeah.
that's
Beautiful.
fine.
And then would there be any other supplier documents that you would upload through here? And if so, does AI process those documents as well?
So we independent from suppliers. So any document you send over, it will be processed by the AI and picked up the right dates and the extra tasks from this week as well.
Yeah.
And so it's independent on who send it. Of course, the reports should be clear. And
Yeah.
look, if
But it's
AI
knowing
can't
what
pick it
to,
up, then
AI
it's
is knowing
probably
what to
not
look
clean
for.
enough even
Yeah,
for
yeah,
PMs.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Look,
yes.
if you get one that's handwritten, and like
Probably
even
shouldn't be using that.
even the handwritten, I had few, and it does read the handwritten ones, but
Okay.
sometimes it might have a trouble
Yeah.
because there would be different dates
Yeah.
through, so you just can manually upload
Yeah.
and
And I think
update
it's
those.
also if you are finding that you're putting documents in that it's not reading, a conversation you could have with your supplier and have,
Exactly. Like I
yeah,
said, with the suppliers are like they're very
integral.
integral part of what we need to do with the compliance and the minimum standards. But we need to make sure that we actually they're working for us
Yes.
and not
And
us for them, because we
yeah,
already have so much on our plate,
yeah,
and we need them to make it a little bit easier for
yes.
us.
Yeah. And most of them will get on board with recommendations and suggestions as well because they do want to continue that relationship.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a couple more points on the integration with Property.me. What is the integration? So we import all your properties from Property.me. So if you have a new business or if you archive property, that all gets synced once a day. We can import all your reminders. So if the agency has reminders set up in Property.me and maybe not all of them,
Which
whatever's
is now
in
under
there.
compliance, isn't it? In Property.me.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's under compliance. So the dates can be imported to our system and then it would color code it
Great.
based on the actual dates.
Yeah.
And then you start filling in the outstanding things. We can import selected suppliers. So that could be just a subset of your suppliers. You don't want to import all your carpet cleaners, windows cleaners.
Yeah.
So you just bring in whoever is related to compliance checks or the resolution of them.
Yeah.
And as we showed, you can create and assign jobs to any of them. We sync once a day, but you can trigger the sync anytime you want. If you reassign plenty of properties to someone else and you want to see it reflected in our system, you can do that. Sync your users. So anyone who has account in Property.me would have account with us. All they need to do on the first login, just reset their password.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And one thing that I didn't mention, didn't show, but it's straightforward. So when you mark any of these certificates current, or when you drag it onto the boxes where they display, it is saved back to Property.me. So the owner has straight away access to it as well. So
oh, good. The documents. Yeah. Perfect.
The documents. Yeah. So it's good transparency for the agency as well, because sometimes PMs might not send it to them, or that they might not have it. The owner might not. They always say, "Oh, I never knew about this." So you can avoid those conversations.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Couple points that we think that agencies would help when it comes to effectively managing it in 2026 is to just document the reasonable belief. And you ask anyone, it would mean something else for different people. So people just need to store the documents, whether it's the disclosure statement, owner's instructions, or the supplier reports, or checklist in your CRM or Properteasy. Just have something that you believe gives you the reasonable belief that it meets the standards. Make sure that you consider a dedicated compliance. It doesn't have to be necessary manager, depends on the size of the agency, but someone in the agency that values and protects the business. So it could be a senior property manager, team leader. It could be someone, it could be dedicated role as a compliance manager.
With this one,
someone needs to complete. Someone needs to champion it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Peter. So the setup for Properteasy is pretty much for any size of the agency. If they have a structure that the PM's running it, or they've got a compliance manager in-house, or they've got VAs offshore, the setup, the Properteasy works for all of them. But what I have found is that it's always good to have that one person who is kind of looking over,
overseeing it,
because you still will have multiple people working with the system, and the system does bring everything together in the same way, but you might have just see and check how they entering comments, how they entering that, are they uploading the additional documents. I think you've mentioned before, is there any additional documents that Properteasy can hold? And so we've got a section for multiple documents that are not the current certificates. So on my portfolio, I might have a block of apartments, and the block of apartments has got exclusion for a split system installation. So I've got a letter from Body Corporate that is saying clearly that we cannot have split system, and I've got it saved in Properteasy under each property.
Okay.
So whoever is looking through it, if I'm not there, they can clearly understand why I don't have that minimum standard tick, or I have it ticked but with that exclusion.
Yeah. Okay. That's good to know. Yeah.
The next one is I think a lot of agencies have some sort of VA or admin person in the office, so they can definitely leverage VAs or admin workers for the admin work, but they can't I think they should not be outsourcing the information. You know,
The
I think the
management of
PMs
it.
should
Yeah.
know. The PMs should know what they actually managing. They can have conversations with the owners much
Yeah.
more confident and about details than just the high level and waiting for someone else or looking for the information. So that's why the AI summaries are good. If the PM just logs in and wants to see the overview of the properties, they can get it. And yeah, definitely they shouldn't just outsource the whole thing, the management, the admin, the documents, the
No.
paperwork, and then feel like, oh, I actually don't know. Yeah, so the information shouldn't be outsourced. I feel the PMs should always be aware of what they're managing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
As I mentioned, demand the clear third-party compliance reports, so it's easier for you to digest and automate the extraction of the data. But but it's AI doing it or VA. If it's hard for VA to do, AI would struggle as well. So clear reports are the key. Automate the processing, extract the dates, suggest the new dates, the stuff that Properteasy tried to help with, so you don't have to manually type it on a piece of paper and type it somewhere else as well.
Yeah.
Upskill your PMs as well. So of course they know tradies. They are good to manage people and connect the dots. But yeah, so upskilling, and there is a lot of training around, and yours, Kasey, as well, is upskilling the PMs to pick up the most common issues when it comes to these properties, and then engage the professionals when it comes to mold or structural soundness. So upskilling is one thing as well.
I think that the upskilling will be one of the main things that will be going forward in the job, where we will have a lot of things that we do in terms of admin as a property manager. There's going to be a lot of automation coming through in next couple of years, but the knowledge that you do have as a property manager, that will be what's going to be a worth for the agency. So and it's, look, we're not tradies, but with the good training and upskilling, like Peter's saying, I believe that you can pick up 90% of those things on the minimum standards, and you can always engage a third party or get somebody to check if there is something concerning.
Yeah, definitely.
And the last point, start tracking the minimum standards or the compliance in general. As I said, bring it under one roof in one place, so you can future-proof as well, because any changes to this, if you haven't started doing anything when it comes to this, and there's more changes to it or required dates and stuff like that, you'll be feeling a lot of gaps. And so the sooner, if you haven't started, start today. It will be even harder to do any audits going forward. So
I've got a quick example. Before the blind codes were in place, we were going to routine inspections 6-8 months before, and we were taking a note of the blind codes being or not being secured in the property. So through the minimum standard checklist, we already knew which properties would be those that we need to attend. And then what happens is that with the minimum standard checklist, you can actually filter through the categories, and you can select only those properties that are not having those blind codes secured, and you can select them all, and you can send bulk work orders. So I've sent 28 work orders with one click to one supplier. What the supplier receives are individual work orders for every property with all the tenants' details, and they can call them. So it's a massive time saver, and you can have a record of what you've done as well.
Yeah, that's a really good feature to note. Definitely.
Cool. And here is the summary. Of course, if you feel like stuck a little bit in a mud, or if you want to make it easier for yourself, for the team, for the agency, as whether you director, operations manager, or PM, as I said, there is a better tool and service that helps you just get the bigger picture before you dive into it, and helps to make the admin much easier. So that's when we come in, and here is couple testimonials from our existing users. And we have users different sizes, so some agencies could be around 100, 200, 250 properties, but then we have other clients with 700 to 800 properties, and then the big ones like Martina's one could be few thousand, 4,500 properties. So
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
end of the day, whether you're small or big, still the PM manages probably
Still, you
around
need to put the work
150
in
to
and
180. So it doesn't really matter what the total is for the whole agency. The PM is probably responsible anywhere between 120 to 180. Depends how you
Yeah.
load your PMs. But
Yeah.
that's
Love
we
it.
work with different range of agencies. That's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say.
Yeah. Amazing. So if someone was wanting to come on board with you guys, what is the onboarding process lengthwise? How long would it take someone to get up and running with you?
I usually tell whoever is the point of contact to put aside maybe half an hour to connect, to create account, to do the subscription, to connect Property Me. They call me in 10 minutes that it's done. So that part is very simple. Then if they request to bring the Property Me reminders to us as well, they need to run a report out of it. We need to check it and massage it into our import. So there is a little bit of unknown time, how long, how messy their spreadsheet is it
Yeah.
coming from Property Me or different sources? So that could be within few hours, but again,
Yeah.
if it's
So
massive
generally you're
4,000
looking at,
properties,
you could confidently say in a week you'd be up and running.
oh, I would say in a day,
100%.
unless
Okay.
they
Okay.
have it
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
messy that
Yeah.
we spend a week of bringing it all together
Yeah.
when it comes to the importing of the
Yeah.
dates. Yeah,
It
but
Okay.
the
does.
process itself to connect Property Me and do the permissions and everything, it's a half an hour. As I said, the most time consuming is the where are your dates now, and we
Yeah.
can help with it, source it from multiple places and so on. So yeah, definitely it's a matter of hours or day. Week is we yeah, I don't think we onboarded the client that it took a week. So
Yeah. Amazing. Love it.
It
Love
does
it.
depends what the current agency is like with the compliance. If somebody's really on top of things with the spreadsheet, then it's easier than if you've got somebody who doesn't even have any spreadsheets or
Yeah.
reminders and they're kind of fishing. So
Yeah.
could be different.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
And then in terms of integration, are you looking at integrating with any other property management softwares?
Yes, so we already approved to be integrated with Property Tree.
Perfect.
That's in the making.
Yeah.
They've already approved us. They want us to integrate. It's now up to us to do the actual work, and so we're ready for it. Hopefully, 2026 will kick
Yeah.
it in.
Amazing.
And but yeah, at the moment, as I said, there's plenty of Property Me users struggling in that, and we know the
Yes.
Property Me world.
Yeah.
As you can see, we obsessed with clarity and simplicity for the Property Me users. And
Yeah.
yeah, so we'll integrate with other software when it comes to it.
Yeah.
But at the moment, we here to help all the PME users.
Yeah. Amazing. Love it. Love it.
Cool.
Anything else you wanted to touch
No,
on?
as I said, I'm mentioning it all the time. We
Yeah.
obsessed with clarity, simplicity, transparency, and
Mm.
making the workflow flow. And
Yeah.
that's why we build Properteasy. So, we can also connect people if someone wants to connect to our customers to just get a sense of, hey, how hard was it to get on
How is
board,
it
or
going? Yeah.
how
What do
is
you
it
think?
going?
Yeah.
Happy to connect them. And
Yeah.
yeah, we've got agencies using us. So yeah, we
And I guess, probably the biggest discussion amongst the agencies would be, what do I get out of it? Firstly, it is the clarity. You can definitely clearly see, or any person within the business can clearly see where the compliance and the minimum standards are at.
Yeah.
But also the time saving for the property managers, because the job is just getting bigger and bigger, and we only have those 8 hours a day, and you don't want to end up being working after hours on the cost of your family, because there's just too much
Yeah.
things to catch up on. The conversations with tenants and owners are getting larger because there's more information out there for
Mm.
each party. So it's definitely a tool that can save you time as a business, and it can definitely highlight the risks that the business might be sort of
Yeah.
facing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think at a minimum, the risk management is, one of the biggest bonuses and pluses for
Yeah.
your platform. I really love this software. I've loved it since I first saw it. So Yeah, it's an asset to property managers and agencies across Victoria. Absolutely well needed, especially what I see going into agencies and the problems they're facing with compliance. So, yeah, I am
It doesn't have to be scary. I always say I'm probably the only person in Victoria on the planet that that loves compliance, because I can see it doesn't have to be hard. If you do use the right tool, if you
Yes.
do choose the right provider, you can do it very easily. It's not a rocket science, it's a paperwork management. And you know, the jobs that come out of it, it's just what we used to do. So
Yeah.
it's not hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Martina and Peter, for joining me today. Loved the demo. I love it always. You know, I'm a big fan of this software. Clients of mine that where we've implemented it absolutely froth it. So thanks for joining me today. And yeah, we'll make the recording available for those that missed the demo today, and reach out to Peter and Martina if you've got any questions or want some more information.
Thanks, Kasey. Thanks for having us.
No worries.
Thank you, Kasey.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy your day.
Bye-bye.